Alright, hello everybody, what is happening? Welcome back to another video. This is the match preview of Real Madrid versus Getafe, which will be taking place away from home this time. It's at a stadium called the Coliseum Alfonso Perez. I'm not sure if I got that right, but hopefully that's pretty good for you guys. So let's get started first with the press conference of Zinedine Zidane and what he had to say about the match tomorrow. There were a lot of questions about transfers, obviously. I mean, like I said, that's normal with the season being over and stuff like that. But I'm going to address mostly questions about tomorrow's game since, I mean, transfers really, they're irrelevant until we get more news about them. Right now, there's no point in talking about them when there's no news being, put out by the media. Some news are fake, some news is real, but I mean, if you don't have no news at the end of the day, there's nothing to talk about. So Zidane's press conference, let's see what he had to say here. There was a question about Thibaut Courtois. Is Courtois ready? Pretty much Zinedine Zidane said that he's training with us, and you will see tomorrow if he's going to be playing in the starting 11. So he is training. He might be playing tomorrow. Apparently he's fit, so he just might play. He just might play tomorrow. We might just see Thibaut Courtois, especially considering that the season is over for Real Madrid. So we might just see him in goal. Now, another question that was asked was, would you like to see Courtois, Navas, and Lucas next year? He said, like always, what I like, I won't tell you. Sometimes I like things and things don't go that way. As for that theme, it's not the time to talk about that. So obviously, he didn't want to touch. He didn't want to touch too much on this whole transfer situation, the clarity of the goalkeeping position. I think there were about 7 questions about goalkeepers at the press conference, so you can see that this was just a major theme. Everyone just wanted clarity on the topic. No one really got it, really. He was always very closed when it came to that. He never wanted to talk about it. And even despite after 7 questions, he still had some willpower to say, you know what, I'm not going to talk about it. And I think that was good, actually. So there was another question about La Liga. Yes, there was a question about La Liga and why we're not competing for this trophy, or how come we're not doing so good with this kind of with this trophy on our way to it. He says next year he's gonna want to really focus on this. La Liga is a huge feat for people who can just watch the weekend games. He says he really wants to win this because obviously people who can only watch weekend games, well, I'm gonna say we because I mostly can just watch weekend games, but it's for people who want to watch weekend games and we don't do so good in La Liga, it can get kind of tough and it can get kind of cumbersome to watch the games on the weekends because we don't do all that great sometimes. So he did mention that he wants to focus. He does want to focus on getting La Liga next year. It's gonna be at the top of his list in terms of priorities. Now, yeah, there was another question about this too. Real Madrid won 4 out of the last 5 Champions League trophies, but Barcelona have won 8 out of the last 11 La Liga trophies. So yeah, why is this? Well, Zidane actually had a funny kind of answer to this, and he said, "Well, how many La Ligas does Barca have? Obviously less than us. They're catching up. I'm not going to say this. Barcelona are catching up, and it is a little bit worrying, I have to say, but." Barcelona, they're not there yet. They're still trying to make their own history. They've got a lot of history behind them. I have a huge respect for Barcelona. I hate them. I hate them with a passion, but I have respect for them at the same time. They're a very good club. And he said, of course, we have to change this dynamic, and it's true that the most important thing is La Liga because of the amount of games the league entails. So basically, the Champions League, it's 13, 14 games in a season, or I don't know, something like that is what he said. And obviously La Liga is like 38 matches, so La Liga has got a lot more matches. Hence, you could assume it's a little bit more important, but really both trophies are just as important. There was a question about Vinicius too. So Vinicius is back in training. He won't be getting any minutes tomorrow. He said Zidane said this came out from Zidane that he won't be getting minutes at all. He'll need to train a little bit more. He just came back. He's young, so. All these things about Vinicius. Now, questions about goalies. Let's see. Yeah, there was a couple more questions, like I said. I know some people wanted clarity on this, and he said, all I can say is next year it'll be very clear. I won't tell you any more than that. So obviously not giving more information than that. Now, let's get into tomorrow's game. I didn't want to talk too much about the press conference, but sometimes it's good to get some information out of it, especially for people who maybe don't speak Spanish language or the French language. I mean, I can speak both of them because my mom's French, or my mom's Mexican, my dad's French Canadian. So, okay, so Real Madrid versus Getafe. This is going to be a difficult game, actually. This sounds a little bit paradoxical. Getafe haven't been the best, I would say. They've always been kind of a good team, but they've had their ups and downs. They've had very good moments. They've had very bad moments, to the point where they were closely relegated. And if I'm not mistaken, they were relegated not too long ago. If I'm not mistaken. I mean, I don't watch them too much. I don't follow them. But they do have a fairly good team. They're currently in fourth place. They're right below us. So they do have a Champions League spot, unbelievably. I mean, you're talking Getafe here. They're having their best run in their history. So obviously it just shows how good they've been this season. But there is a 10-point separation between us and Getafe. There's a 2-point separation between fourth and fifth. So basically they're going to be looking to extend that gap. So that way they can secure that Champions League spot. And I think they'll have a lot of motivation because obviously this is kind of the first time I don't know if it's the first time they're going into the Champions League, but it's their best run in their history, and they just want to make it. They just want to make it. This would be huge for Getafe. I mean, I can't imagine the afición or the supporters of Getafe, how much the elation there is at the moment. So they've got 54 points at the moment, and they have the third best defense in the league with 29 goals conceded in 33 games. So a little bit less than 1 goal per game. So they have a very good defense. I think Valencia is 28 goals conceded, and then you got Atletico with the best defense, 21 goals conceded for the season. Now, they also have less losses than us compared to R9. They have 7 losses. But they got an awful lot of draws. They have 12 draws in their season. So almost, is it one third of their games are draws? So I wouldn't be surprised if this game would end in a draw. Now they've got 43 goals in 33 games. So obviously not the best forwards, but they have very good, actually prolific forwards, I would have to say. But they don't have the most goals in the league, but they do have a couple prolific forwards. We'll be talking about that right now. So they're a little bit more defensive minded. They might be parking the bus. I really don't know. I don't know how they're going to set up versus us. I think the last game we won versus them was 2-1. I know Gareth Bale scored. And I can't remember the other person who scored. But yeah, we did win 2-1, so just barely. And they just beat Sevilla 3-0 last game. So they're a very good side. They're a very good side, like I said. I'm just kind of consolidating them and giving them the respect that they deserve because they do deserve respect. They have done really good this season. And they have players like Shibasaki from Japan, came from Kashima Antlers. They have Jaime Mata, who scored 14 goals and 6 assists this season. He got a Spain call-up as well. I know there was like, how can I say this? There was like some mistakes. People thought it was Juan Mata, and it was finally Jaime Mata who got the Spain call-up, so it's kind of weird. How that worked, but Jaime Mata got a Spain call up, and he's doing very good. He's having a very good season. You have Jorge Molina too, who has 12 goals and 4 assists, and also having a very good season. Now a player I was worried about is actually out injured, and that is Amat Ndiaye Diudio. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. And Atunes, they're both out with long-term injuries. So obviously that's going to be good for us, but they still have other players who can fill in for them. As for injuries for us, it seems Mariano, Vinicius, and Courtois will all be back. So that's great news for us. Mariano, I thought he was going to be on his way out, because Zidane wasn't giving him many minutes. But it seems like Mariano just was injured, and now he's going to come back into the squad. As for Ramos, he's still out. I think he's going to be out for this week, and then he'll probably be back in not too long. Odriozola, like I said, he's out for the season. Now, let's see. Who's going to start for this game? Obviously, he's going to want to experiment Zidane once again. So I think it's going to be Courtois in the goal position. Yeah, and then you're gonna have Carvajal. You're gonna have Jesus Vallejo. I think Jesus Vallejo is going to play. I think he had a good game last game. You're going to have Varane for sure. At left back, I think he might go with Reguilon, obviously, because he's more defensive minded. But he might go with Marcelo too. It's difficult. I'm not sure. As for the midfield, I'm going to go with Modric, Cruz, and Casemiro. Yeah, he's going to put Casemiro. Casemiro, Modric, Cruz. I think that's what it's going to be. He's going to want to put in a good midfield in there. As for the forwards, I think he will go with Asensio, and Asensio on the wings, and then Benzema in the striker position. So that's all I have for you guys today. Really, just the match preview. As for the score, I think it's gonna be I think it's gonna be 2-2. I think it's gonna be a draw. It's gonna be a difficult game, but whatever. Nonetheless, our season's over. That's okay. And Getafe season, well, they still have that fourth place to take, and if they can get a point from this, that would be great. And actually, they might be getting all 3 points because this is a very difficult game here. So we might just see a draw or a loss. I'm not really expecting a win, especially considering that we're playing away. So that's all I have for you guys to say. Thanks for watching, and have a good day. Thank you.